Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings of Allah to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. I seek refuge with Allah from the shaitan, the stone. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Before I discuss the relevant Quranic ayahs related to our topic, what the Quran says about the Kaaba, that is the cube, and the Qibla, the direction of belief. In the booklet, there are pictures given on the first page, and first I will discuss that. Then I will read the ayahs, and then you can understand what the Quran says about the Kaaba and the Qibla. If you open the first page, you will note there are 4 portions in that page. 4 portions. So in the corner right hand side, you will see the Kaaba with 4 corners. The 4 corners. Can you see in the below right hand side? So if you will note at the east of the Kaaba, you can see on the east, the name is written down as Hajr Aswad, which in English means more black stone. Hajr means stone, black is stone, Aswad, more black. That is the corner where the east is. And on the top you will see Rukne Shami, that is north, Rukne Shami, the other corner. And on the west is written down as western corner, and on the south it mentions Rukne Yamani. These are the 4 corners of the Kaaba. Then you will see the interior of the Kaaba, which is with Hatim. If you note, this on the left side is the boundaries or the walls of the Kaaba. So if you note, on the top it is written down as 13.16 meter, and the right side is 11.28 meters, and the below is 12.84 meters, and then on the left hand side is 11.53 meters. These are the wall sides, you can say. If you will note, all the 4 sides are not equal. If they would have been equal, because if a man makes anything, it will make in perfection. I don't want to say why Allah made these differences. There is a difference in each wall. Though we call it a cube, because it appears to be a cube, but it is not exact cube. So there is a slight difference in all the 4 wall sides. And then the third page, before I go to third, I'm going to say that, I remain in this page. The height of the Kaaba is 14 meters. So again, it's not equal to the height is more than the 4 walls are also different. So that is the structure of the Kaaba, how it is made. Normally it is understood that these 4 walls are made by Ibrahim alayhis salam, which is not true. Actually, this Kaaba is a black stone coming out from the ground like a mount or a mountain, small mountain you can say. On the top is flat. After 7.5 feet or 8 feet, then there you can see the below of the door of the Kaaba. So this hole is coming out from the ground as a rock raised up to 7.5 feet. Then it's a plain surface, that is the inside of the Kaaba. So if you want to enter the Kaaba, it's not like this. You have to climb on a stairs about 7 or 8 feet, then you can enter the Kaaba. So in this page you will see Hatim. Hatim is an extended rock formed wall by itself. It's not again man-made. it is also a wall of stone. This circle, you can see the arc. So whenever we go to Kaaba in Mecca and we perform, we go around, we have to go outside from the Hatim and then make a circle. We don't have to go from in between. The Hatim, from the outside of the Hatim, we have to make that circle. So normally people say that this place of Hatim is an extended of Kaaba. Extension of the Kaaba. If you pray there, you are praying as if you are praying inside the house of Allah. That is generally understanding. An amazing thing is that if you remove this Hatim and you go around the Kaaba, it will make a circle because it's almost a cube. So if you go around a cube, it will be a circle. But because of its extension, if you just visualize that if you start from the east and you start going around this Hatim, it will become an elliptical path, like egg, elliptical path. So mankind, while going around this Kaaba, circling this house, they make an elliptical path. It is like an elliptical path. All in all the universe, all the planets and the galaxies where you see stars, the moons and the planets, or even an atom, they are all moving in an elliptical path, not in circle. Because everything is moving in elliptical path, we mankind are going around the Kaaba in an elliptical path, not in a circle, because of this extension. And there is no explanation why this Hatim is there, except that we know that Allah has made the Kaaba and this wall by itself, so that mankind is also moving in an elliptical path. Otherwise, there is no reason for this Hatim, because every body itself is moving on its axis and on the orbit in an elliptical path, like an egg shape. If you go to the next page, and the third photograph portion, interior of the Kaaba. In the interior of the Kaaba, you can see three pillars. These are man-made. And on the top, you can see the wooden roof. This is a man-made thing. The walls and its height and everything is by Allah, except these three, the top, the roof, and this inside the pillars, and the gate, where is a golden gate, from where you enter the house. These are man-made. Now coming to the fourth portion of that picture, you will see north, east, west, south again. Where the Hajar Aswad is, or the black stone is exactly on the east. You see in the photograph, it's in the east. And then on the top you can see the north, where Rukn-e-Shami is. And then western side you can see the west. And below where Rukn-e-Yamini is south. East is where Hajar Aswad is, and then north, west, south. Now if you see the north, showing north in this picture, is showing the magnetic north of the compass. Magnetic north of the compass. And there is a slight difference if you extend these lines from the Kaaba. From the center of the Kaaba, you straight go to the north or the east or the west or the south. That is the geographical north, east, west, south of the world. You understand what I'm saying? North, geography on ground. Magnetic compass is made by man, and it has an error. When you travel in the world through the magnetic compass, their error is put in that magnetic compass so that you are reaching a certain point because it has a magnet in it, and the earth itself is a magnet. So there is a correction applied in it to reach a fixed place. But this Kaaba, since Allah has made, it is exactly north, exactly east, exactly west, and exactly south. The corners, the four corners. The difference is because the compass is magnetic. So if you're traveling, you have to put in that error into it to go on the straight course. And that this is defining that it's north, east, west, and south. So this was the first introduction of the structure as we can see there. And another thing I would like to tell you is all the bodies in the universe or galaxy, they are moving in an anti-clock direction. From east, the body rises and it moves towards west. So since there are four corners of the Kaaba, the tawaf, or when we start circling the Kaaba, we start from the east, where Hajj-e-Aswad is. We could have started from the north, we could have started from the west, could have started from the south. There is, going around the Kaaba, there is a point from where you start. So where Hajj-e-Aswad, and Hajj-e-Aswad is exact east. So we move from east towards the westerly direction in an anti-clockwise, well, making an elliptical path, well, all the bodies and the planets and the neutrons and the protons, smallest minutely, they are also moving in an elliptical path from east to westerly direction. So mankind and all the planets and the galaxy, everything is moving in an anti-clock direction from east to west. It's not that the black stone of the corner Hajj-e-Aswad is there. It is scientifically that you are moving from east to west. It is exact east. So you have to start from easterly direction, and you go into anti-clockwise. So that is also why did we start from Hajj-e-Aswad? Why not north? Yukri Shami. It is or Rukn Yamani or the west, because we have to start from east, because every body is moving from east to west and anti-clockwise in an elliptical path. Now coming to the Quranic ayahs, I would like to first discuss few points where the Quran mentions about this place, Makkah, or how the attributes are given to the house of God and Mecca city or the Kaaba itself. On that page, I've written down few words how this Makkah or the Kaaba is mentioned. First, I will read Al-Maidah 5:21 verse. Ard al-Muqaddasa, same page. Ard al-Muqaddasa. Allah is mentioned this place is a holy land. Then I will read below Ardillati Barakna, the land which we have blessed. Then on the top, Ummul Qura, Surah Ash-Shura 42:7 verse, mother of the cities, or the center of the cities. Al-Baladil Amin, this is At-Tur 95 Surah 3 verse, the city of security or trustworthy. It is mentions Al-Baladil Amin in At-Tur 95 verse 3. Then the house itself, this was the city and the land is mentioned. Now the house is Al-Baytil Atiq, Al-Hajj 22:29 verse. The ancient house. Al-Baytil Ma'mur, At-Tur 52 verse 4. The house of life, full of life. Umrah, Ma'mur is from Umrah, life, where mankind spend their lives. Then Al-Baqara 2, 125 ayah, Baitiya, my house, where this is very important, Al-Baqara 2, ayah 125, where Allah says, Baitiya, my house. That Allah said, this is my house. So now, then on Quraish 106, verse 3, Rabba Hadal Bayt, Allah is the Lord of this house. Then finally Hud 11, 73 verse, and Al-Ahzab 33 and 33. Ahl al-Bayt, people of the house, or the family of this house, the Kaaba. There may be some others as well, but I've selected few to explain to you how Allah has expressed this city and the Kaaba and the house in these points. Now, coming to the ayahs of the Quran, before I discuss ayahs, I would like to explain to you one more thing, is about the house. Like, for example, I'm standing here and this is a house where I live. Physical structure I've described the physical structure of the house just now. But there is also in the Quran where house is used as a symbol of, in psychology. In psychology also there's a house where I live in. Once is the physical structure I'm living, but in my psyche where I'm living, what I'm thinking all the time, what is my, where I live in my house, in my mind, there's a house. All the time the thought process is going on, and what you think is right or wrong, that's your house. What people advise you, you take guidance, whatever, is your house. Where you are living basically. Physically you're living in a physical structure, and psychology you're living in a psyche. That's a house in which you are relaxed, or you see yourself, want to see a movie, or you dream, whatever in your house. That's your house. And that is where you are living, in your house and mind. Everyone lives in a house. That is where you are living, in your psyche, your nafs is living, psyche. And everybody, if you suppose I'm a poor person, but if I'm fantasizing myself as a king, I can live. I'm the king in the house, in that house. So there are people who in real life and in that psyche there's a difference, because they fantasize and they wish what they want to see as themselves as they are. So that is also a house where you live. Quran also describes that house in the ayats. So you have to understand both psychological house and physical house. Physical house is also mentioned in the Quran, and the psychological house. So first I will discuss the psychological house. Surah Ankaboot 29:41 ayah. مثل الذين اتخذوا من دون الله أولياء كمثل العنكبوت اتخذت بيتا وإن أوهن البيوت لبيت العنكبوت لو كانوا يعلمون. The example of those who take awliya protectors besides Allah is like an example of spider who takes a house, and surely the weakest of the houses is the house of the spider, if they know. Now Allah is giving an example of a spider. People who take as other people as protectors except Allah, meaning you are listening to them, whatever the awliya or the protectors are saying, you are listening to them and you are accepting their statements. So when you accept a statement of any human being other than Allah, you are taking them as your protector in psychology. So Allah describes that they are like a spider. Now the spider Allah is making an example and comparison that the spider builds or takes a house. You know how the spider makes with his mouth and makes this house. That is the house of the spider, physical. And then Allah said the weakest of that house is the house of the spider. So Allah has related a physical house of a spider with a mental house of a human being. With a mental house of the human, because the awliya or the protectors, what they are saying, people are believing in that. So if you believe what people say, you are taking them as protectors. And that house which you make or you live is so weak as the weakest of the spider's house. So similarly, so Allah said this. Similarly, the house of Allah Physical house I have defined. How would we understand what is the house of Allah in psychology? Can anybody tell me? What Allah says in the ayahs. What Allah says. As people are saying something as protect, you are making them as protector because you're listening to them and you are trying to obey and follow. Similarly, when you understand the ayahs, and once you understand the ayah, that is the house of Allah. In your mind. Because in your mind, ayahs are there. Or if you're listening to people, you are making them as protector. That house is so weak as a spider's house. So that is why I'm telling you that Allah is also mentioned in psychology, there's a house where we live. So now we come to ayat number Aal-e-Imran 396. Inna wala baytim wudiya linnas lalladhi bi Bakkata mubarakan wa hudal lil alamin. Surely the first house being placed for people is that with Becca of blessings and guidance for all worlds. Now Allah is saying in this ayah that this is the first house. Inna awwala bayt. Surely this is the first house. Placed for mankind. Being placed for mankind. It is with Becca. They say this Becca, Bibakka is another synonym word for Mecca. That's what people understand. Mubarak is blessing. Blessings are there. Wahudal lil alamin, and a guidance for worlds. Physically you can also understand and psychologically you can understand. First I'll describe the physical aspect in this verse. What we get from the ayah, that mankind has to take guidance from that place. Physically also and psychologically also. Physically also and psychologically. Because once you go to Mecca for tawaf, that place is a blessing. And in the previous verses I've told you there are so many things about this. It's Ma'mur, Baitul Ma'mur, full of life, and it's security and everything. So you have to take guidance, Hudal lil Alameen, a guidance, and a blessing from that place. ذَلِكَ كِتَابْ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This is of the book which does not have a doubt, a guidance for mankind. Muttaqin, those who guard. Similarly, this place is also a guidance. People go for Hajj and Umrah, they don't go and see and check up and find out what guidance we go take from here and come back. What guidance? We just go there. So how we will explain how it will, we will take the guidance in the verses. Now coming to the next ayah, first I am describing the Kaaba, then we'll describe the Kaaba, the cube I'm describing by the ayahs, then we'll discuss the direction of belief, the Qibla.